The exciting plans that had been cooked up for Daredevil Season 4 and 5 make me wish that we'd gotten further seasons of the original show, though I'm grateful Daredevil, Born Again makes one of these storylines a reality so many years later. As a whole, superhero shows either tend to continue for a massive number of seasons, or be limited to a far shorter run of 1 to 3 seasons. While both approaches have had some major successes, this does mean the genre is split between two very contrasting approaches, and not always to its own benefit. For example, the MCU's decision to at first give its shows only a single season received criticism for limiting the franchise's storytelling capabilities in this format, and for undermining potential audience engagement, since viewers had less time to build an affinity with specific releases before they came to a conclusion. However, the MCU's early shows were by no means the first times people lamented a superhero show ending before it perhaps needed to, as evidenced by the calls for Daredevil to get further seasons or a different follow-up after the show was limited to 3 seasons. Daredevil's original Netflix story ran for 3 seasons. Until its new 2025 follow-up, and the cameos that predated it in the MCU timeline, the story of Charlie Cox's Daredevil was told entirely between 3 seasons of Daredevil and the Vigilante's role in The Defenders, which takes place between Daredevil Season 2 and 3. With each season of Daredevil having 13 episodes, and each episode being between 45 minutes and an hour long, the series had plenty of time to tell Matt Murdock's hero story, and provided a thrilling look into his life and escalating tensions with Vincent D'Onofrio's iconic version of Kingpin. However, the show being 3 seasons wasn't the plan from the start for the series. Indeed, even watching Daredevil Season 3 now gives the impression there may have been plans for further chapters of the show, if only because the story ends on a massive cliffhanger, with Benjamin Poindexter seemingly getting the experimental spinal surgery that would finally transform him into the Marvel show's version of the comic villain Bullseye, and make him an even more dangerous opponent for Matt Murdock to face. After the cancellation of Luke Cage and Iron Fist after 2 seasons each respectively, Daredevil was similarly limited to 3 seasons, as it was confirmed in November 2018 that the show would not return for any further chapters after Season 3, with Deadline reporting that this news came 2 weeks after showrunner Eric Olson had posted on social media about having just pitched Daredevil Season 4. Unsurprisingly, this means some big plans for the show were ultimately unused. The plan for Daredevil Season 4 and 5 suggests the show could have had some truly interesting follow-up chapters. In an interview between Daredevil Season 1 showrunner Steven DeKnight and Season 3 showrunner Eric Olson for 2020's #SaveDaredevilCon, the pair discussed much about the iconic Marvel show, which included Olson detailing some of the ideas and intentions they'd had for continuing past Season 3 with the story. Olson revealed that there were plans for Bullseye to return in Season 5 after some presumable in-universe recovery time from his spinal surgery, with Season 4 instead having its own version of Typhoid Mary and the son of Season 1 villain Leland Owlsley, who becomes the Owl to avenge his father. This all paints a fascinating picture for what Daredevil Season 4 and 5 could have held, allowing for more of Daredevil's villain roster to be fleshed out, and enabling the franchise to adapt some fascinating comic stories. With Kingpin seemingly in jail for some time following Daredevil Season 3's ending, the fact the Owl has tried to establish himself as the new Kingpin in the comics seems like it could have held weight for the show, and Typhoid Mary's complicated comic relationship with Daredevil also seems like it would have perfectly fit in with the show's world and story. Indeed, Olson referencing that the plans for the Typhoid Mary storyline would have been a warped love-storied murder mystery does seem to suggest the story would have veered in this direction, adding more emotional weight and tension to the narrative alongside the seemingly more solely physical threat of Owlsley in his no doubt blood-soaked quest for revenge. As it stands, though, only one part of these plans has come to fruition in the years since they were thought up and then had to be abandoned. Daredevil's Season 5 plan did end up being adapted in a sense with Daredevil, Born Again. While the other parts of the prospective plans for Daredevil Season 4 and 5 have remained basically untouched currently, Bullseye's Daredevil, Born Again return does serve as a kind of adaptation of the plan to bring him back later in Daredevil Season 5's story. Though it's not clear how much time would have passed between Daredevil Season 3 and 5, and it's almost certain that Daredevil, Born Again has a bigger time skip out of necessity due to the show's successor coming back so much later, Bullseye does still return to screens after having time away to recover and recalibrate here.